You may have seen Home Alone 2 over a dozen times, but you've probably never noticed these 9 details in the movie. And the first one is that when Kevin dumps the pearls on the ground to literally give Harry and Marv the slip, you can see that the pearls bounce and scatter all over the sidewalk. But then when we see the close-up of their feet slipping on the pearls, you can see there's magically a whole lot more of them on the ground than there were before. After slipping on the pearls, Harry and Marv chase after Kevin down to a city street, where he escapes in the back of a carriage, but the crooks think he's hiding in a crowd of kids who are all wearing beanies. But the reason why Marv was convinced that this kid was Kevin is because, aside from the green pom-pom, the boy is wearing the same moose-patterned beanie that Kevin wore in the first movie. Another item of clothing that was used in the first movie can be seen early on when the McAllisters are rushing out of the house to get to the airport. And if you take a look at Fuller, you can see that he's wearing the same jacket that Kevin wore in the first Home Alone, which means that the jacket was probably a hand-me-down from Kevin. Another detail about Fuller that very few people notice is that he wakes up on Christmas morning wearing dinosaur pajamas, which is actually a callback to the first movie. Because if you remember in Home Alone, Kevin tells Old Man Marley about the horrors of being given terrible clothes for Christmas, and then he mentions that a friend of his got beaten up over a rumor that he wore dinosaur pajamas, which we now see Fuller wearing in Home Alone 2. After Kevin scares the concierge with the inflatable clown in the shower, the man runs out of the bathroom and smacks his knee on a table. And if you look closely, when Tim Curry hits the table and hops away, you can see that he's wearing a knee pad. One of the most memorable characters in Home Alone 2 is the scary pigeon lady that Kevin eventually discovers isn't so scary after all. But you may not have noticed that even though she shares her whole life story with Kevin, she never tells him her name. And her hidden identity is even backed up by the end credits, because she's only listed as the Pigeon Lady. A little known detail is that the director Chris Columbus gave himself a cameo in Duncan's toy chest, where you can see him with his daughter playing with a nutcracker. And it'll probably make you jealous that the young girl reportedly got to pick any toy she wanted in the store as her acting fee. Speaking of cameos, during Donald Trump's famous cameo at the Plaza Hotel, he tells Kevin to go down the hallway and take a left to find the hotel lobby. But there's a continuity error in the next shot that makes it look like Trump lied to him, because we see that Kevin actually had to make a right to get to the lobby instead. The famous filmmaker John Hughes, who wrote and produced the first 3 Home Alone movies, managed to sneak in an Easter egg of his own. Because when Kevin is looking at the Christmas tree outside Rockefeller Center, you may not have noticed that the star at the top of the tree is in between 2 illuminated windows, which forms the shape of John Hughes' company logo. Click a video for more great content right here on Fun Fact Films.